Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 144. It's Iliya here, and as always I'm really grateful to have you on the channel. As you know, in this video we're gonna have a look at the market, how it developed this week, what opportunities we had, and what we can expect for the upcoming week. Make sure to check out my trading setups breakdown that I published on Thursday. I'm also gonna leave a card so you can check it out because those are all the trades that I took. I also took another one on Friday, which I could show you in this video, of course, but I think you can learn a lot from this video first, and then of course transferring onto the weekly outlook to see what is potentially going to happen for next week, right? If you're new to this channel, it is all about trading. I share these weekly outlook and setups every Saturday, and once per week I do an educational piece of content or a trading setups breakdown video. So make sure you're subscribed and turn on the notification bell in order not to miss all the future updates. And before we start, shout out to an amazing broker that is Forex.com. It has low spreads and also very tight commission if you pick their eco account. But if you choose their eco account, every single lot that you trade will go towards planting 10 trees. I think this is an amazing initiative. Check out their website. They also show where they plant the trees, how many trees they have planted so far, and they are an amazing broker. So check them out. Link is down in the description. Check all the links as well, and let's get into the analysis. All right, let's get started with the dollar. So we're having a very strong week. Once again, we are continuing this bullish push. And of course, I think I've said this many times, but the outlook on the dollar is bullish, right? Interest rates rising, and even they have started to increase the pace of rising the interest rates, which of course becomes very bullish for the dollar. It's becoming stronger. We also have inflation and all of that stuff, which is pretty much devaluing the dollar. So we have a lot of kind of macro stuff that is going on, and it's slightly bit tricky, but we can see, of course, that there is a lot of momentum right now. So again, my biggest tip as always is go with the momentum, right? Follow the flow. If the market is bullish, if the sentiment is bullish, then just keep longing, right? Because if you remember, many times we were like, okay, I'm gonna utilize this supply zone and we're gonna start shorting from there, and then potentially seeing like a big monthly pullback or a weekly pullback. Well, no, you can see we just had one candle of pullback right there, inside bar. The next week took out the liquidity below the inside bar right there, and right now we're heading higher. So we did not have much of a big pullback, and on the weekly we did not even tap 50%, right? So you can see not always you're gonna get those deeper pullbacks. So right now, we are creating a weekly high formation, and we're potentially headed towards, I don't know, so we have a little bit of flat highs right there. Of course, next target could be this high, but probably before we violate this high, we might have something within those wicks as well, which we can of course explore. Dropping on the daily again. So if the market failed to respect this guy right there, which we reacted from very nicely, I do think all of this right now is going to get taken out. So what you can do is you can also grab the ray. Where is the ray? This one? Yep. Oh, what is this? Not this one. Okay, this works. And I do think 101 can definitely get smashed first, right? Then of course we can start encountering like 102, 102.50, and then give another reaction. But definitely 103 could be a potential target long term, again judging the overall sentiment of the dollar. So as you can see right now on the daily, we have a brand new range. As I told you, after a very little liquidity grab right there of the inside bar on the weekly, we launched and we haven't stopped, guys, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. Oh man, 7 days of bullishness, right? And just the final day, you can see the last 3 days, we had a little bit of a slowdown, which is great because we can start potentially expecting a little bit of a pullback, right? But of course, guys, keep in mind, we can just continue straight pushing another day and then another day until this target is reached right there. So keep with the flow, right? And I do think right now the 4 hourly is very important. So let's drop to the 4H. And yeah, you can see, even I think last week, I do remember this, breaking this down to the community because we were kind of discussing whether the dollar is bullish or bearish. We had this little lower high right there on the 4H. The market tapped inside, reacted, broke above. Pullback, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? And although we were looking to short from areas like this, well, the 4 hourly is bullish, right? And you keep following the 4 hourly until the 4 hourly also aligns with the daily and the weekly. This is the most powerful setup, so make sure to take note of this. And yeah, right now we're perfectly bullish. Again, as I told you, the last few days right there, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, very clear. But then since we entered like, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, it's got a little bit sloppy. So right now, I am going to drop this guy right there. Oops, come on. as my higher low formation on the 4-hourly time frame. And if this one violates, then I'm going to be looking for a deep pullback towards 50%, which of course we have a new zone on the 50%, and potentially zones like this, which is kind of a rally-based rally. Very nice demand zones, these ones. So yes, I am continuing with the overall bullish sentiment, again suspecting that the weekly candle could first create a low, right? So I would love to see the weekly candle open, create a push to the downside to create that weekly wick, and then potentially start pushing higher. So then the weekly candle could look something like this, right? Push down and then a potential continuation higher, okay? Of course, if the 4-hourly changes right now, then we can also look for some shorts, but so far the 4-hourly is bullish. So even if we right now tap inside this zone, I'm still gonna look for longs, right? I'm still gonna drop to lower time frame and look for longs. But if this gets invalidated, then this means that all of this is potentially going to go right there, and we're gonna head lower. So then if we have a break below this demand zone, so there is the second scenario, a break, I'm gonna be looking for retest and then targeting a lower zone, all right? But this is what we're gonna see on potentially on Monday and Tuesday. So make sure to stay tuned for my Tuesday analysis on Telegram. Link is also down in the description, and let's have a look at EU. Euro USD weekly time frame. Let's have a look. Very nice bearish engulfing candle right there after a very nice rejection from last week. So this is definitely turning bearish. And again, first things first, I definitely think that this low right there is getting smashed, right? So this is the low of 108. So this one is definitely getting smashed. And then again, the question is, again, similarly to the Dixie, are we going to hunt for 106 as well? Which was, what was it? 103 on Dixie, I think. So yeah, definitely those two targets are in my mind right now. We also have some news like from the ECB. They're also starting to move a little bit with interest rates, with tightening up their monetary policy as well. So this can result in a little bit of choppiness as well. This is what I'm afraid of, because right now the dollar is raising the rates and the euro is keeping them at hold, which is the perfect opportunity for shorting EU. But if the Eurozone also starts increasing the rates, then of course they're gonna kind of balance out and we might not have so much big of a momentum, right? So keep this in mind. Weekly is bearish, very nice bearish engulfing candle. What I usually do after bearish engulfing candle is if you just take the whole candle, right? It is usually a whole leg. So this is our weekly leg. So what I will be looking for is for some sort of a pullback, right? Above 50%, somewhere inside right there. We have a very nice daily break of structure. And again, the next target is definitely this low, right? So the question is, are we just going to open and smash the low? This is definitely possible. Or are we first going to initiate a pullback, right? As for the pullback, let's drop to the 4H to see where we can potentially go. So I looked for shorts from numerous levels. This one was the first one. I actually had one right there. And this one is also a level to look for. And of course, the most recent one is within this wick. All right. So guys, take note of all of these levels because we can pull back to any of those. Right. Again, just taking the overall daily push. If we take it from the high, I think this one is going to be a little bit too much. Yeah, you can see only the last one is above 50%. But I'm even eager to take just the 4-hourly leg. And the last 4-hourly leg is this push. Right. So if EU starts Monday with a pullback to the upside towards this zone, I'm going to be dropping to a lower time frame and looking for shorts, targeting, first targeting the low, this low, and then if this low takes out, then of course we can target even the other one. But then there is the risk also of initiating a bigger pullback, right? We might completely shift, as I told you, on the DXY, and the DXY will head towards its 50%, while EU will also head towards its 50% as well. And then, of course, I'm going to turn bullish and I'm going to short from some of these levels as a counter trend trade, right? Because what we can have is a tap, reaction, no follow through, tap, reaction, pullback, higher low, then tap in right there. And then from here, we might actually change and start attacking the lows, right? So this is kind of a longer term perspective on EU. But again, nothing too much to dive deep into this pair, right? It's very straightforward, weekly bearish, daily bearish, 4-hourly is bearish. So as long as we're bearish, we keep shorting. And the first short zone for me is this one. Okay, so if I drop to the hour, if on Monday we start pushing towards this zone very nicely, I'm dropping to a lower time frame, looking for shorts, of course, depending on how it sets up right there. If this zone fails, then of course, this right there will become liquidity. So we're going to seek higher prices. So then we go into this one, then from this one again. So let's say something like this happens. From this one again, we still drop, we still look for the shorts. But of course, at that time, the market could also turn long, right? So again, as I always say, guys, in my videos, flow with the market and adapt with the structure, right? So without talking too much and without making it more complicated than it is, there are all of my zones. I am short, overall expecting this zone to get taken, which is 108. So I'm going to be looking for shorts from any of those levels. And in case we just continue to drop further, of course, we adapt and keep following the flow. So that's EU. Very simple for next week. Nothing much to say about EJ. So we're having an overall inside bar, which of course is great because we can take out the high and we can take out the low of the mother candle. So we can expect some sort of a breakout. And after having massive 4 consecutive weeks of bullishness, taking out the major high, and also I think also tapping inside this very major, like very strong high right there on the weekly. We even took it out by a few pips, right? So this is a lot of liquidity being taken out right now to the upside. So I definitely think this pair should start initiating some sort of a pullback, right? And if we just drop the range on the weekly, dropping onto the daily, we can right now, very clear, actually we can see that there is this little candle that is currently holding price, right? And we can see since like the 1st of April, pretty much the whole of April, this pair has been stuck in this range, right? So it really doesn't know what to do. So what I'm looking for is, for some sort of signs if we're going to initiate a pullback. And this, of course, the sign will be a break of the zone, right? Right now, if we zoom in, you can see that the range, the real range right now of price is this, right? So this is my higher low formation. This is a straight push. Everything inside is just complex, right? Everything inside is just complex. So the market can very easily right now head into the highs. Okay, so be mindful of that. But yeah, if you really zoom in, it's a bit too hard, right? And I don't think it's worth it because then, yeah, you can say break of structure, right? This one is supply right now. So let's have a look. Pushed, then failed to break lower, pushed in again, failed to break higher, pushed in again, failed to break lower. So what are we doing right now, guys? Well, consolidation, right? So what I'm looking for is for some momentum. To the downside, it will be great because then we can, of course, trade it to the downside, fill in all of this empty space right there that the weekly time frame did. So this might look something like this, a very sharp push to the downside to introduce momentum, pullback, lower high, and then keep shorting. Okay, so then of course we can start looking for zones like this to get a reaction from. So this is where we're going to get the reaction from, pullback, and then potentially start to push lower. And of course the second case will be first to initiate higher. And then from then we can of course say, okay, dailies bearish, weeklies, dailies bullish, weeklies bullish, everything is bullish right now. The flow is also turning bullish. So let's follow the trend, right? And then you take a long, right? From a zone, let's say like this. Okay, but this is not played out yet. So again, let's see how Monday is going to play out. Give this one some time. And if you're trading EJ, again, wait for some momentum. Don't force yourself within those ranges. Yes, if you drop to the 15-minute, there might be some sort of opportunities, but this is low probability and low quality market. So step aside, wait for it to play out, and then strike on a high quality setup with the trend. All right, let's have a look at the Aussies. So starting with AU, we're having a very nice bearish week right there. So this pair was really strange. We started with a massive pump into the highs, and then I think, yeah, it was their rate decision. I think it was the interest rate decision. They actually kept it on hold. At first, it was met with a big reaction to the upside, right? But then it just crushed down. So pretty strange delivery this week. But overall, on the weekly, again, what is the price doing? Well, it's bullish. I perceive my range to start from here to there, and right now we're potentially pulling back towards the downside, and we can see that we have almost reached 50%. And what we have surprisingly at the 50% is this little candle right there, rally base, rally demand. Also very nice flat lows that are about to be taken right now, so it's kind of starting to align as a bullish bias. The only thing that I kind of don't like is that we also have these sort of levels to the downside, right? So we might go for a little bit of a deeper pullback. Or who knows, we might actually turn bearish because we have reached like a really high price point right there, 76.50. We have tapped inside on the weekly, something right there on the left. But again, what is the daily? What is the weekly? Everything is bullish. So let's drop to the 4H, which the problem is right now that this one is turning bearish right now. So it's very simple. What we have to do is we have to just wait for the 4 hourly to also turn bullish. So we can go with the weekly and the daily trend. Again, as I said, this is a very high quality zone right there. It's below 50% on the weekly leg. It has a very nice range right there that we know a lot of orders were initiated from. Of course, we have some of these to the downside, but yeah, if the market goes all the way down, we can take quite a few shorts until then as well. So right now, the most recent price, again, you can see when did the market open? Yeah, somewhere right there. It just pumped right? And then massively drop to the downside. And again, you can, of course, I think in such case, you can drop to the hour and start trading it to the downside, right? So this could be a potential setup. But right now, if I am long bias on this pair overall, I would first really wait for it to tap this zone, right? To tap 50%, to tap into this zone. And then from there, what I'm going to look for is for the full hourly to change bullish, right? Or maybe even the hourly if you wish to go a little bit more aggressive. And then to potentially start going long. But what we have so far is this wick. So I do perceive this wick to be my last lower high. We're currently in this pullback stage. So what we can also do is we can drop a fib like this. We're just about 50%. On the hourly time frame, yes, it looks like it might actually go short right now, but I really don't trust it. On the 50-minute and on the hourly, we have this sort of zone. Right now, it's very flat. So I would love this one to actually get taken out. Right, I would love to get actually for this to get taken out, to come into the highs right there, and then potentially look for a 50-minute shift of structure there, and then ride it into the lows into 50%. Of course, if we start pumping down from here, then just keep following it, right? But overall, I would say shorter term, very short term, I am bearish right now towards this 50% and towards this zone. And as we tap in towards this zone, then the story changes and we have to wait for a bullish shift of structure. And of course, the market can just tap in, pull back, and then crush to the downside, right? We can turn bearish. We never know. But this is my outlook. For now, of course, we have an opportunity to short immediately right now because we're already above 50%. We're already tapping into a very strong zone. So if we start shifting lower on Monday, like mid-Monday, maybe around London session as well, then start shorting to the downside. But I would love to have a manipulation into the highs towards this zone, which according to me is high probability. And then, of course, take a nicer short. And also the risk to reward will be much nicer if we short from the top right there. But we never know. AJ as well, we can see a slight bit of consolidation is going on right now. Weekly time frame, very extended. So again, this one is really extended, right? The Aussie JPY and NZD JPY, they're extremely extended. Also inside bar, which is good. I think we also had it on EJ. So the JPYs are starting to slow down a little bit, and that's normal. They can't go forever. Yeah, so we had a push, we had a pullback, and then this pullback failed to make a new high, which could be first sign, of course, of the market failing to break above. And then, yeah, daily time frame, again, nothing too much to extract. Hourly time frame, let's actually follow price. So we were bearish right there in this pullback stage. We had a lower low right there, and then the market broke the lower high. So from that point, we were bullish. We pulled back, pushed higher high, higher low, higher high. So the last one, according to me, where we really launched with momentum is this guy right there. I think we had actually the same with Euro Yen. So right now we're consolidating, right? And this is the tricky part right now, is that we can go for a lower zone like this to go long from, or we can even go for a lower zone like that, okay? But if I start seeing the market turning bearish, I really like how it failed to break the high, right? So we consolidated, very nice push to the downside. Right now it's really chopping around. So I am not really in favor for a setup like this, right? For a short like that. Why? Because this zone right there did not cause anything, right? This is just a higher high. This is just a higher low. So this one should actually break, right? So I'm not trusting a setup like this. But if we break below right now very strongly, then we can look for a pullback lower high to short, or maybe even a pullback right there to short. Because then this zone would have caused some sort of a break of structure, and we might start perceiving it as strong and one that is going to hold, okay? So this is kind of my AJ outlook. I am not 100% on it, simply because it's very extended and we just don't know what's going to happen. Daily is still overall bullish, right? So again, we had a pullback right there. So this is still the daily higher low, right? Although it did not cause a break of structure, slightly debatable, right? But on the hourly, we don't have much to work with as well, right? We right now should be longing, but the market is just extremely ugly. So if we start seeing some downside, then I would say maybe we can start shorting. But really, guys, for this pair, in order for me to really start shorting this pair, we have a lot of space to the downside. Like we have a lot of, all of this push might get fulfilled, like all the way down there, right? So what I would love to see is really a bearish market, right? A break of structure, retest, lower high, a new lower low, and then of course we can start shorting very nicely, okay? So again, for the JPYs, I say this for numerous times, wait for them to develop, wait for a high quality setup, wait for momentum, wait for a trend, and then strike. All right, so those are the Aussies. Let's have a look at the NZDs. All right, NZD/USD also initiating a very nice pullback on the weekly time frame, very bearish candle. In fact, I think it's more bearish than the one on AU, and this one is already into 50%, right? If you remember, AU was just traveling towards the 50% and we actually expect one more short. Well, this one has just broken and actually shifted bearish on the daily as well, right? Those pairs right now are very tricky for me, the Aussies and the NZDs, because they're kind of a little bit extended. They're also kind of, you can see this one is also kind of bearish on the weekly, right? This whole leg right there. But then we can say, nope, this was a lower high. So this lower high was broken. So right now I'm bullish, right? This is the other case. And if you remember, I do believe I called this zone right there on NZD USD, because this is when the momentum kicked in. We tapped it for perfectly 50% into the zone and we had a very massive rejection, right? So this speaks also quite bearish to me. So right now, yeah, you can see the delivery is not amazing. We started chopping around right there, potentially a long from here, which I think, yeah, this is way too early. 29th of March, push pullback first. So we pretty much opened somewhere right there. Again, pushing to the highs, pullback lower, immediately breaking the last higher low, right? Little pullback, and then since then we started sliding. No pullback to the downside. So this pair is definitely tricky. Definitely not nice. Not creating very nice kind of flow structure, right? Lower highs and lower lows. And if you ask me right now, I'm having difficulties to identify the last lower high, right? You can sometimes use the line chart. This is a very nice pullback. These ones right there just look like a little bit of a slowdown. So I really don't know. We can drop this guy right there, which is similar to AU. And if we have a pullback towards this one, then short it, right? Currently, yeah, even the daily is turning bearish right now. Because yeah, the daily is maintaining bullish from here. Like you can see higher low, higher high, higher low, almost higher high, manipulation above, and right now complete shift. So the daily is turning bearish. Weekly, we might say that even on the monthly time frame, we're actually bearish, push, pullback. So right now the monthly time frame is actually above 50%, and we can also start expecting for the market to attack these lows, right? So be open-minded. And again, the golden time frame for me is the forward time frame, because it always tells you what the market is doing. Currently, we're bearish. If we have any pullback towards these zones right there, I'm going to be looking for shorts, right? And my first zone for TP will potentially be this one right there, around 68 all the way down to 67.50. And then from there, we're going to see if we're going to start shifting bullish for a higher high, or are we going to completely smash it and turn bearish? So let's see. Not very clear. And of course, NZD-JPY is even less clear. So we have, again, the high, we have the low that haven't been broken, which means that we have an inside bar. Daily time frame, again, stuck in this range, exactly the same as AJ. And again, you can see on this one, we had this kind of higher low, which is already being violated, kind of. But guys, I'm just not gonna break this down because there is nothing to say, right? We're just ranging right now, and you can start thinking, okay, right now we're bullish, shifting a little bit bearish. You can start dropping demand, supply, support, resistance, right? This is extended market, right? It is currently in an inside bar. Nothing too much to extract on the daily. Forward is ranging as well. So give it some time, right? Let's wait for this breakout with nice momentum to really create a nice lower low, a nice push with momentum. And then we know where the orders were launched, so we know where to trade from, okay? If the market continues into the highs, then of course adapt and keep longing. Okay, so nothing much to say about the JPYs, especially like AJ and NJ. My biggest tip will be to step aside from them, wait for something clear, while NZD-USD and AUD-USD look like shorts. So USD-JPY closes another bullish week, but again, for how long can it go, right? The USD is super strong, JPY looks super weak, right? But we can already see that the JPY pairs are starting to slow down a little bit because this can't go forever, right? So again, a massive run, nothing too much to say. Of course, we have an inside bar as we have with all the JPYs, so we can expect some sort of a breakout. Looking how this one is headed to the upside, I do think we can have the high taken and then maybe initiate a reversal, right? But again, on the daily, nothing too much to say. We had a little bit of a pullback, then the market starts to kind of try to push higher. But look at the momentum, it's starting to slow down a little bit, right? I'm sure you see this. Dropping on the forward time frame, we are still kind of bullish, right? So we had this supply, right? So we had this supply, the market respected, consolidated, massively broke out outside of it, which creates a brand new demand right there. The market did not reach it and still kept climbing into the upside. So right now, this precise pricing of UJ is extremely not nice, right? It's not really in the middle, but it's not like trading at a low or high price. But it's trading at a high price for shorts, but knowing that the market is bullish, you don't want to short it just like this from the top, knowing that also this one is an inside bar and it might get smashed to grab liquidity, right? Of course, you might drop this as a higher low, which is correct. Come on, because it caused a new break of structure to the upside right there. So again, UJ, if you're trading UJ, be careful because we're really at a very high price right now after a massive rally. So we can start expecting the market to pull back, to accumulate, to do some maybe Wyckoff schematics and all of that stuff. But yeah, for me, it's still bullish. So if you are feeling risky, then wait for this pullback and look for longs on lower time frame targeting the high, or at least this wick. If we start with a push into the highs to take out the high, then I'm going to be looking for a very sharp reversal to potentially start expecting shorts. Or of course, we can just, if it's really strong, we can just continue with the continuations, right? We don't know. So I'm not going to say a lot about UJ because I don't have much to say. I really like this demand, right? So if we maybe just start by pulling back towards this demand, of course, then I'm going to be interested to buy as well. But if this one fails, if these ones right there fail, I'm going to start thinking for shorts as well. But again, as I told you, JPY is very tricky right now. A lot is going on the macro side of things. So again, give it some time. Okay, give it some time, all JPYs, for them to show you a clear push, clear momentum, and then go with it, right? I would say jump to some other pairs that are a little bit cleaner, right? You can even go to pairs like, for example, USD CAT. Maybe like you can see a massive drop to the downside right now, initiating a pullback. So you can start taking like longs towards 50%. I'm not sure if USD Swiss, oof, man, no, you don't want to go to USD Swiss. But yeah, this is my outlook on UJ. Nothing too much to say, just being patient. Those are two zones that I'm going to be looking to short from. Inside bar, expecting the high to be taken potentially. So let's see. All right, let's have a look at the GBPs. But before we do that, let me share something with you. This video is sponsored by TraderCentral.com. Trader Central provides funding for traders, spot cryptocurrency exchange services, and access to trading tools like copy trade software, portfolio tracking, and a social platform exclusive for communicating with your trader friends. Sign up now using the link in the description and get up to 30% off on your first plan. Alright, so let's have a look what is happening right here. So overall, we are bearish on the week and we just took out the previous weekly low right there, which is amazing, which of course signifies that this market is continuously bearish. And right now we are deeply tapping into this sort of demand on the left, right? So we took out the low, we're deeply tapping inside this one. And again, oops, you can see that the momentum is starting to slow down a little bit. We had this massive pressure. We have 2 weeks of pullback, and right now the last 2 weeks of push, it's not the best, right? We had a wick right there, wick up, wick down. So it's starting to slow down a little bit, which makes me think, can we also initiate a bigger pullback to the upside? This is definitely possible to maybe take out this high and then really jump into the zone where all the momentum actually kicked in. Okay, so this could be a scenario. Because you can see on the daily right now, like on Friday, we took out this low and we started rejecting, closing like very nicely 50% of this rejection. So right now, if you ask yourself, well, where is the next target, right? We just took out the sell side liquidity right there on this pair, because this pair loves to work, like it jumps from point A to point B, just taking liquidity here and there. We're tapping inside this guy. So I do think we can start having a little bit of a reversal on this one right now, or at least taking out some of these highs right there. If we drop to the 4H, you can see that the structure, it's not the best, okay? Especially right there, like on the end of 5th of April, 6th of April, right there, 7th, not the best, right? Of course, there were tons of opportunities to take, but for me, this one right there will be the major one, okay? So if I'm looking for continuation shorts, I will look for these highs right there to get smashed. They're pretty flat, right? So on the 4H, I will look for the market to come inside right there and then drop to a lower time frame, wait for the shift and continue with the trend to the downside. Of course, if we try to also look on the long side of things, then I would love for this one to break, okay, or just to see some bullish flow start to get introduced. We can have a push right now lower, then a break of the last lower high, which will be here, and then of course we can start looking for longs as well. So GEO right now, it's in a very tricky pricing, a very tricky situation, just making a new lower low. So we can of course start having continuations right now, straight continuations to the downside. But knowing that we just took out this low, right? You can see what happens after we take out the low, immediate reaction, right? Of course, we can also try to play like a a setup like this, a continuation from here, because this is pretty much technically the last lower high, right? If we fail from there, then we can pull back into here and then pretty much return into this setup. Okay, so honestly, GU right now, it's not entirely clear for me. So I'm going to be giving it some time, maybe for Monday to play out, to close the daily candle, to see kind of where it wants to go, where it wants to head. But I'm overall bearish on this pair, again, pairing it with the strong dollar. I am overall bearish on GU. The question is, where are we going to sell from? Okay, so there is our first level that we can sell from. If this one fails, then of course all of this is going to be taken out. And then there is the second one, which I think is pretty good because we had like a range, a very nice buy, and then a very nice sell-off that caused some break of structures as well. And it's very well priced. So this is GU without making it too complicated than it is. Let's see if we can catch some shorts from there. If not, like you can have a tap, maybe give a little bit of a short, but fail to continue. And then of course we come in inside right there and we wait for this setup. So those are all of my outlooks on GU, keeping it super simple. And my biggest tip is to stay tuned for my Tuesday morning outlook on Telegram. Make sure to sign up there. Link is down in the description, because then I'm going to break down how Monday play out and how we can, of course, adapt to what is happening right now, because we know the majority of the times Monday opens and then completely invalidates our setups from Saturday. Then dropping to GJ, again, this one is pretty tricky right now. We have an overall bullish week. But it's a pretty massive last week, right? So this week is just nothing. It's just staying inside this big range. On the daily, there is nothing exactly in the middle. So this is the price where you don't want to trade, right? This is absolutely precisely in the middle of this whole range, right? And what we expect in the middle is just a range, right? This is equilibrium, also it's called. This is like 50%. Right now, buyers or sellers are potentially arguing, oh, yo, shall we push up or shall we push down, right? 4 hourly time frame, again, we can argue that it's overall bullish. Like we had this lower low. If we just follow price, this was a lower high, lower low, failed to make a new lower low. So this creates an MSS formation right there. Pushing to the highs, higher high, higher low. Then there is the last push that was created by this demand. So again, oops, if you actually ask me, well, I am kind of bullish on this pair. So if we have something like this, then cool. But where are we then targeting? Like these 2 wicks right there, which we can of course have a look on the hour. I really don't know. So guys, for those with that trade GJ, I know a lot of you are really specialist on GJ. Let me know what you think. I personally, again, referring back to the JPYs, I say this for 100 times this video, give them some time, right? You don't want to trade in ranging markets like this exactly in 50% at the ranges without having a very clear directional bias, okay? Yes, we're bullish, but again, remember that we're heavily extended, and right now we're starting to kind of really slow down. Look at the past few days, right? Very slow, very slow, very slow, very slow, very slow. So this immediately decreases your probability for a high quality setup. So this is GJ. I'm really not 100% sure of this setup, so don't listen to me, but let me know in the comments what you think of GJ and the overall GBPs, right? We can see that Euro GBP is very bearish right now, so definitely the Euro is weaker than the pound. We're about to tap into this sort of level that actually caused the break of structure. So I'm very curious to see if this one is going to get respected. And we are going to realize this if we have a full hourly shift of structure. So far the full hourly is bearish. We had a lower low right there. There is the last lower high. We're currently reacting from the last lower high. So if we have like a reaction, then a break above. So if we break above this level, then we can potentially expect some bullishness. And this might mean that EU can also turn bullish as well, and maybe GU bearish. I don't know really how to utilize this pair. Maybe you guys can give me a couple of tips. But this is how I currently see this pair. And if this one holds and continues to break below, well, we keep shorting, right? That's it. So nothing too much to mention. Again, after all of these moves right now that we had the past few weeks, it's slightly bit tricky right now. The majority of the pricing of all the pairs are not very proper, so it's very key to just follow momentum at this point or just wait for high quality setups. So those are the GBPs. Let's quickly check out gold. So we're having an overall kind of bullish weekly candle, which is also an inside bar. So we have inside bars across the whole market this week, right? I think, yeah, almost every single pair was an inside bar that we covered, this one included. So I do think we're about to head to take out the high. Looking at how the last weekly candle rejected from the downside and how this candle created the low and then started impulsing to the upside. Looks like the sentiment is overall bullish, but you can see that we're still kind of stuck within this kind of range, right? So it's not the best. yeah, man, gold is hard. I don't know how you guys trade gold right now. But with respect to this daily, then from this daily zone right there, we should have headed for a new lower low, but no, the market pulled back, consolidated, threw in a couple of wicks, and right now the most recent price is indicating bullishness to me. All right, so we took out this high, caused the break of structure. There is another break of structure. The break of structure originates from there. So I am shorter term overall bullish on gold. I think we accumulated enough right there. The market really failed to start heading lower to take out this low, which makes me think that this right there was a liquidity grab for the market to potentially head higher. So I'm gonna say bullish on the dollar, on the gold, which does not make too much sense because the dollar is also bullish, right? So people right now start to put more money into USD, but also we had a lot of bullish sentiment on gold as well because of inflation. So tricky times, right? But again, if you ask me, I'm gonna be looking for something like this. This can be a potential target, which is a weekly inside bar, and those tend to get smashed, right? So this is how I look at gold, overall bullish sentiment. Let me know in the comments, guys. What do you think about gold? Q1 just ended and we are about to enter into earnings season. So this is very good. And we can already see that the past 3 weeks on US 30 have been consolidative. So probably expecting the earnings release and all of that great stuff. So nothing too much to comment on those. Again, daily time frame, we had this little demand right there, which looked like it was invalidated or just liquidity grab. But if we drop to the 4H, we can see that the 4H is starting to turn a little bit bearish. And we have also introduced a little bit of supply right there. So there is a very big chance right now that we might actually start initiating lower towards this zone right there. Then from this zone, I'm definitely buying. Okay, definitely buying because again, earning reports, I do think the majority of the companies, especially these ones right there, are doing good. So we should not be really disappointed, but of course we never know. We never know right now. So again, I'm open-minded on US 30. I'm not really bullish anymore. Yes, we had a very nice shift of structure right there. Daily supply being taken out. Right now we're tapping into a major one. But again, the question is it just going to be a cause for a pullback to then push higher, or is it going to be a completely reversal? Short term, I do think we can take some shorts. Like right now we can take a short and then potentially ride it into the lows. And then from there start looking for a shift. Okay, but keep in mind we're right now about to enter earnings season, so the volatility might increase a little bit. You can see Nasdaq is already starting to pull back very nicely. So again, the question is, are we just gonna right now pull back towards this zone to take a very nice long, or is it gonna completely crash, right? Very bearish weekly engulfing candle with a wick on top. Those are the strongest. And dropping onto the 4H, we can see that the market failed to make a new high, unfortunately, flipped to the downside, and right now we are bearish. If you ask me where would I short this pair, I personally don't see it. US 30 had a level to short, which was this one. This one does not have it. It just straight flushed to the downside. This one is, I'm just looking at this bullish candle right there, which can be a potential level. You can of course utilize like the 8 hours. Come on. Yeah, there is not even 8 hours, 12 hours. Nope. I'm looking for a zone like this. So you can of course take like a whole zone like that and utilize 50% of it. So somewhere within this range could be a sell. But of course, we can see that the market is currently forming structure right there, and it might just continue dropping lower, something like that. So stay open-minded on the indices. Again, we can see the tech stocks, especially, they're doing a little bit bad. Majority of them are like at very major lows. S&P had a good day, I think, one of those, but then we started dropping, then we pull back again. So yeah, I'm definitely expecting, looking also at the other indices, I'm definitely expecting a drop. And as you can see, I have my alerts sitting in right there. So as soon as we tap there, I'm gonna start buying and making, of course, my monthly investments. But yeah, looking for a potential short coming into earnings seasons. Usually earnings seasons are met with a little bit of bearishness, maybe some sort of pessimism before the earnings. But if then we have a surprise or some positive earning reports across those companies and the overall sentiment is bullish, then we tend to have a very nice run. So be prepared for that. Check the earnings as well, stay mindful, and yeah, looking for overall push to the downside and then long from this zone. Having a look at crypto, I am regretting not selling, man, because I was really thinking it right there, overthinking. I was like, okay, I'm just holding, so let's not do kind of swing trading. But I've had great success in 2021 doing this, so I'm not sure why I don't continue doing it. Because yeah, I am riding this one like since 39 or something, and I was very nice right now, but right now again suffering quite a big like 12% drop, right? Can we head to the lows? I wouldn't love this one, because then right now for me it really doesn't make any sense to sell, because I'm almost back at break even, right? So it doesn't make too much sense to take it out. I'm also staking those coins. But yeah, so let's see if this is just a pullback right now. I'm really hoping for a pullback right now towards this zone. So let's see how the FOH is gonna do. FOH right now grabbing, pushing to the downside, still very bearish. So I'm gonna be looking for the FOH to turn bullish, and then potentially maybe even to put some more inside it. But I'm also really kind of looking at the sell side as well. Like we broke structure, but we can also perceive this one as liquidity grab for us to head lower and start taking out the lows right there as well. So hopefully this one is not going to happen. Let's see how we're going to react from this zone right there. Follow up on the 4-hourly time frame, guys, if you're looking for longs. Right now we are shorts, right? Actually got a really nice short. I was really thinking to sell, so I'm really sad that I did not. But of course I learned my lesson. So yeah, let's see how this one is going to react from there, and if we're going to have any sort of bullish introduction. And if not, then good luck with your portfolios, guys, because we might enter another bearish market. Ethereum looks slightly bit better. It still hasn't reached 50%, right? But the thing that I don't like is that the daily time frame has shifted. So we had a higher high right there, and right now we broke the high low. So we're officially bearish on the daily and also bearish on the FOH. So yeah, right now what I'm looking for is for a further continuation lower into this zone, and then from there to see if the 4-hourly is gonna shift, so we can maybe buy in a little bit more. And if not, then of course we're prepared for 22 to get retested, right? And then it becomes ugly, because all the buys that we potentially did right there are gonna be invalidated. And personally, I didn't take any profit, but again, I learn lessons every single day. So this is crypto. Those are the indices. Not very nice, not a little bit tricky as well. So stay kind of open, guys. Again, invest what you can afford to lose with those things. Be careful with indices as we're in earning seasons. Be careful with crypto. I think there is an announcement coming in on Ethereum. They're kind of doing a merge or changing its technology. I'm not sure if any of you guys are like into crypto. Let me know. But yeah, this is how I'm gonna wrap up this video. Hopefully you found it valuable. Let me know if you did down in the comments. Let me know what you also think of the overall market sentiment, all the different pairs that you are trading. Let me know your outlooks for the upcoming weeks. Gold, indices, Bitcoin, cryptos, what are you thinking about them, and all the other currencies as well. Make sure to subscribe to my newsletter. Link is down in the description as well. I'm gonna be start sending some nice emails, so make sure you do that. And yeah, wishing you a very relaxing weekend and a crushing week ahead of you.